Hello there, welcome to Critical Reviews. Today I'm taking a look at Red 1. Do you remember Red Notice? It was a Netflix film with a budget of $250 million. It had Ryan Reynolds in it, The Rock, and Gal Gadot, showing us once and for all that she cannot act. It was pretty bad. Red 1 is similar, with a $250 million budget, and $50 million of that purported to be for The Rock alone. It is nothing more than another Hollywood vehicle. And whilst it is entertaining in places, it generally falls into the trap of modern Hollywood writing, being largely a bunch of interconnected scenes with no real common sense between them, actors doing an okay job, and just feeling rather cynical, although there are a few moments of heart here and there. One of the most striking things about the film is how Marvel it all feels. Not marvellous, but Marvel. The North Pole is a combination of Wakanda and Asgard, with a cloaking dome keeping it from view, and a runway for Santa's sled, which is the Rainbow Bridge in all but name. Chris Evans, although he desperately tries to not be Captain America, could just be an undercover Captain America, particularly in a scene where he's in an apartment and takes out 8 guys all on his own. We're not told why he can do this, we're not told that he's ex-military or anything like that. He just recreates the Captain America in a lift scene, just with slightly more people. Elsewhere you have The Rock with his shrinking powers, reminding us of Ant-Man, just not as good. Even the main villain is a copy of Hela from Thor Ragnarok. The similarities are undeniable, and although quite a lot of time has obviously been put into the film, as the really quite impressive design work shows, particularly on the mechanical elements, there's a few vehicles and things like that that are very well designed and realised, and certainly while in places the CGI can look cheap, in other places it can look quite impressive. But you just get a feeling of seeing it all before. CGI monster, Krampus, check. Expanding cars, check. Chase scene, check. Little heartfelt moment, check. Humour, check. It just feels like a film made by algorithm. However, there are a few moments, a few laudable elements to the film. Whilst The Rock is The Rock in just another Rock film, as I've said, Chris Evans does a half-decent job. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said of the female actors in the film, who are given very little to work with, none more than the villain herself, which I shall leave nameless, spoiler's sake, but just she's got nothing to work with at all. Likewise, Lucy Liu as the head of the organisation that's handling the whole Santa Claus mythical creatures thing, largely background material, not really worth taking note of, although her stunt double does certainly do some good work towards the end of the film. Overall, it's just a kind of a meh film. There's some good moments in it. The Krampus scenes were quite good. I'll say that, quite nice. There is a nice father-son dynamic that I'm always a sucker for. J.K. Simmons, for the parts that he is in the film, does a decent job, and he has got absolutely jacked to play Santa Claus for some reason. There's even some nice sequences in the film, like we get to see Santa actually deliver the presents, and in the context of the world, what happens makes sense. I guess that some work was put into it, but the overall feeling of the film is that it should have just been a streaming film. It should have just been a streaming Christmas film, and then, yeah, it probably would have been alright. But it's not worth going to see at the cinemas. One of the other things that I need to mention about the film is that its tone is all over the place. It's a 12A, which is odd for a Christmas film as it is. I mean, I know we had Violent Night, but that was a gory action thriller. It was, Santa doing Die Hard. That made sense. This is very odd in that there's not really anything keeping it to be that 12A, apart from a load of gratuitous swearing. It's rather odd. It certainly diminishes the heart of it. It comes across like the Transformers films, if I'm being honest, where you just had that mother just randomly swearing for no reason. Other than, I don't know, Michael Bay thought it was cool or something. It's okay, I suppose. I wouldn't rush out to go and see it. Check it out on streaming. There's a few good moments in it. There's a few good moments of heart in it, which sadly aren't really explored. And that's when the movie is working, when it embraces the Christmas, I don't want to say spirit, because I'm one of the least Christmassy people in the world, but when it embraces the heart and the underlying themes of the film, and isn't just a throw products in your face as quickly as possible, modern Hollywood action nonsense, then the film does approach something worthwhile. But there's too many plot holes. It's too scatterbrained. It's just a little bit of a mess. And in all honesty, it should just stayed on streaming. So I would give it a cautious sort of watch on a streaming kind of recommend. You've sort of had a few drinks, chuck it on. But it's not suitable for little kiddies, kind of too boring and silly for grown-ups. And while I liked some bits of the film and overall I was entertained in places, even got a couple of chuckles, I can't say anything more than that. So overall I would have to say that unfortunately Red One is not the one. And although it may ape Marvel, it isn't a Christmas Marvel. Thanks for watching. I've been Critic, and I'll be back with another movie review soon.